We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should.
My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today. Danielle DeVita back with another video. I overheard someone say that marriage is overrated. A lot of women say, I like the strong silent type. Well, a lot of men like the feminine silent type. And for sure, it's going down. So a lot of times people are not getting the value. When to speak and when to be quiet is one of the most powerful. She's going to be aggressive, thinking that. And as someone who's been married for 12 years, she's driven, not lazy. And this will make yourself and get on the right path. That understand that you might be doing a disservice to your daughter. If you don't help her understand vetting and proper decision making, now she's going to be a basket case later. If you don't help her understand emotional intelligence, she's going to hold on to a lot of emotional baggage. If you don't. Welcome to another live with Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am Danielle. I am a relationship and femininity coach, and my goal is to help both men and women get into relationships that's best for them. I say often that there's usually the main two reasons why both men and women cannot find the relationship that works for them is because either you are not reclaiming your femininity, if you're a woman, or masculinity as a man. Or number two, you are in a relationship longer than you need to be in. So that relationship could be a hookup, a situationship, some whatever it is, right? Or you were never supposed to be with that person in the first place, but you tried to make it work, and now there's a lot of red flags presenting itself. Now, we are going to talk a little bit about divorce today. The divorce rate, something a woman said. I have a video for you. But before we do that, little housekeeping rules. If you are interested in getting my book, you can go to my website. At the bottom of your screen, there should be a telephone number as well as a website, a telephone number for you to call in if you want to call in. If you want to do that, if you go to my website, MrsDanielleDeVita.com, there's a section for books, and you can get my new book that is out already. It is called Command Respect from the Woman You Want. It is a quick guide for men. It's a book that I think that any man would thoroughly enjoy, whether he's married, divorced, dating, just, or not interested in dating right now, but he's interested in being with a woman sometime in the future. That would be a good book. Even if you are a young teenager boy or an older man. So I highly think that you should get this book. It's only $7.50. So it's a great investment. And in doing this book, I've, spoken to a lot of men of different races, these different age groups, and I've come up to this consensus of several things that these men are saying, and I put it into a book, right? And of course, this is my perspective as a woman, what we will look for. Let me tell you about a book I have for women and girls. If you can see on the bottom of your screen, I have two books that will be coming out more like a spring summer thing. And it says Girl Go Get Your Husband. That's for women, and Boy Bye for teenagers. All right, so let's get started. Go into the chat if you're interested in hearing the conversation that we'll be talking about today, or you can get on the camera. Let me click on the link for those who are interested. Well, I won't have too many people on camera today. I do have someone that might potentially come on. So if you're interested in still joining the conversation, there's a phone number, and I'll put the thing here on the chat here for that. So how are you doing today, Michael? It looks like Michael has a question. He said, what does boy bye mean? Well, it's a saying where, if you're right now, if this is at the time you're interested in talking to this person, it's like, okay, boy, bye. Kind of like the whole bye Felicia thing. And I think this is more fitting for teenage girls, because I think that you should concentrate on getting to know your identity, who you are, rather than putting all your energy in boys as a teenager. But this book will help you navigate world of romance. So my book will be essentially about that. So this would be like what I would say to my daughter. And of course, she's only 2 now, but this is what I would say to her if she was old enough to read this book. She can come back later to read it when she's of age, and these would be things I would say to my daughter. So this would be what I would say to any teenage daughter in this book, but it would be dedicated to my daughter. So I would not tell your daughter something different than I would tell mine. So if you are thinking of getting that book for a young teenage girl, this would be ideal. This would be great because I would give that same advice there. Let's get started on the video that we have. Let me get this video up here so you all can hear it. Can you guys see the video?
Did you know that women leave men 80% of the time? And if they're college educated, it's 90. So if you get divorced, it's 80% of the time like the woman leaves. And one of the number one predictors of a divorce is actually if the woman out earns the man.
Oh, I love that. I actually love that. I can't lie. I actually
You love that? You don't think that's kind of...
No, I'm like, girl, you go get that. You go get a man and like, yeah, you go get that. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Like, why is there like a lack of empathy for men?
It's not a lack of empathy.
But there is, because like they're breaking up a family and a lifelong commitment in a home, and your reaction is you go get the bag, sis, or like, I'm so happy for you, when that's actually a really like, that's a sad situation. Like, your wife is leaving.
No, you know what? This is really interesting video. I'll play it again as a loop later on for those who didn't see it as more people start rolling in. But this is really good. My brother actually sent this to me, and it's something very, very important in here that she said. When the woman makes more money, it's even more likely that she'll get a divorce. And I think about Tia, right? Tia Mowry Hoderick, right? She's, getting a divorce, and it seems like it's easier for women to leave when they feel like they have the financial security rather than if they didn't. Of course, I understand if you don't have financial security, you're less likely to leave. However, it makes me wonder if a lot of women are getting to that point where if I don't need you, I can just leave. And I don't need to have a reason why I need to stay. It doesn't have to be that like a real reason for divorce, like this person is, somehow mistreating me. But we just have irreconcilable differences. This is what we hear a lot. We're just not getting along. We don't know how to communicate. So that's why we're getting a divorce. And we see this often. Now, I know a lot of men say, oh, well, it's mostly women filing for divorce, just like this woman said, which is true. I will say that even though I wouldn't get fooled by women being the one who's filing the divorce, because a lot of times women have actually filed, but the man has mentally or physically checked out of the marriage. So even though he's staying in the relationship longer than he needs to be in, he's mentally checked out, which means he's probably seeing someone else. He has a mistress. He's doing whatever. He's probably not even in the home anymore. So even though they haven't legally gotten separated, in some states, I don't even think they do legal separation. But they may have just kind of splits, or they are no longer talking. They're no longer actually interacting as a married couple. He's really checked out. So even though she's the one who's filed, he's still checked out of the marriage. He has still left the marriage mentally or physically, actually left the home. So I wouldn't get fooled about the number of women necessarily filing for divorce. But I will say a lot of women will easily file the minute that they just feel like, oh, there's a financial strain, or I'm just not happy in a relationship because we're on different wavelengths in our life. And I always say, for better or for worse, a lot of times we want to get with people when we feel like things are at our best, but when they get bad, we are ready to leave. A woman can get fed up very quickly. Men seem to be a little bit more tolerant. So I will say that you would think a man has a short fuse, but they're a little bit more tolerant. But I can tell you as a fact, I know people who have they may have had to file, but their husband has mentally checked out. So it's really important not to get fooled by that. Let's see. You should really talk to Crimson Cure. She will explain it. Yes. I've heard of I know Current and Cure, I want to say is Kendra, not Kendra G, I'm sorry. What is Kendra D? I think her name is Kendra D. And so yes, I've heard about her for quite some time, and she has really good content. Um, I do think that she tells people how it is. A lot of people, they don't like the way people say, tell people the truth and how it is. And some people have their own way of delivering the message. But at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. And it may be a hard pill to swallow depending on how people deliver it. But at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. And you're going to have to get that truth, hold yourself accountable in order to be better, right, on the other side. So some people I think about it like a coach. Some coaches are down your throat, and some are more, they have different innovative ways to get the message across. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get to the finish line. So however you want to take it, then take it. But the truth is going to be the truth. And I will say she delivers the truth, hardcore truth. And sometimes that truth can be like a double-edged sword, right? Yes, Kendra D. Yes, I'm like getting, tongue tied. So that was a really good subject I wanted to talk about divorce. A lot of people are getting a divorce. Now let's talk about some more dating and relationship talk. See someone up here. Let's bring them up. Hey, how you doing?
Not too bad. How you doing? Good evening.
Good evening. Let me try to bring it up. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can switch my screen. Let me take the logo off of you just a second so it won't cover you. So while I'm doing that, what did you want to talk about today? What's on your mind?
Well, I guess like how you were talking about a minute ago, with divorces on the rise, communication is definitely a big issue. And yeah, a few years back, I remember reading an article, and it was saying that how also well, at least a few years ago, I haven't looked at the updated stats for currently last year and this year. But surprisingly, infidelity was not the number one cause of divorce. The number one cause of divorce in America was actually money issues. So, and that kind of ties back even to the communication part, because a lot of times either the husband or the wife might have some type of money issues. Maybe they lost their job or whatever. And rather than discuss it with their spouse what's going on, they want to hide things, and then when things can end up blowing over like a volcano, then
Yeah, hold on, I'm sorry. Michael, I see that you're calling in. A little bit of time. You have someone on the. I'll get in a minute. In fact, hold on. Sorry about that.
you're fine.
I wish I could. I don't know how to hold the call. But if you're still listening, Michael, I see an incoming call in for you. I'll take it in a little bit. I'll take calls in a minute. Actually, let me take it off the thing so people won't call in right now. But yes, go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish saying what you were saying. I know that call was over
You know,
here talking
well, no, that's how
about you were saying
money.
money was one of the
Yeah.
number one reasons, and you said it falls into communication. I
Well,
agree, because I think about that movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. He was married, and when he wasn't making money, and they were starting to lose their house, she like dipped out. She just left him and her son. So I just think that does put a strain on a lot of people. But like it's the vow say, for better or for worse, everything's not going to always be peachy cream. Everything's not going to be great. Question is, are you really there for the worst, or is there a cap to what's worse?
the good times, that's the easy part. So
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not saying be with someone through all the mistreatment, but we're just saying the times are hard. Not
Yeah.
that they're mistreating you, but the times are hard. Are you still going to be there? And that's a hard pill for people to swallow when times actually get hard.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah. So yes. So you brought up the divorce. Is there anything that you wanted to discuss about relationship, dating?
Well, actually, kind of tied back to one of your. I was thinking about something in regards to one of your previous live streams, and you were talking about the difficulties of dating women with children and stuff.
Yeah.
And um, actually, after that live stream, I have some old stuff of my own. Um, when you date a woman that has kids, um, women usually want for you to have a good relationship with their kids and such. That's the ideal outcome. Get along with her, get along with the kids. And in the past, I've usually put forth a good effort to try to get along with the children. One particular instance, I got along very well, with the lady's daughter. When I first started dating her, the daughter was maybe like 2 or 3. So, um, I mean, at that age, you like just about everybody,
Right.
yeah. So, all around good relationship with her and with the daughter. So, over time, I got very close with the daughter, and then the woman and I we ended up breaking up. So, since I had got such a close bond with the daughter, I still tried to maintain a friendship with the mother, just for the sake of the daughter, so I could, so we could still, associate with one another, and I could, wish her well on her birthday and holidays and stuff. So, but
How did Sean, how did the mother react to that? Was she okay with you still interacting with the daughter post breakup?
yeah, 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 she was cool with it. I guess probably because the girl's father was, you know, uh, I guess a deadbeat per se. He would spend time with the daughter once in a blue moon, but kind of begrudgingly.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, she was happy that somebody paid attention to her and cared about her and showed interest in her, unlike her biological father. Um, but definitely over the years, it became more difficult to be friends with the lady,
Right.
and I actually lost touch with her, so I haven't heard from her or the daughter in a few years now. So I hope that the little girl is all right. She's probably middle school age now, but that's something that um, I guess sometimes women might not think about that. A guy's dating you and you're a single mother and you have children, and he actually does end up getting along, having a good relationship with the children, and then it doesn't work out with the two of you. Then how is how is he going to be able to still be on good terms with the children? And if he ends up just getting kind of shut out of the children's life, then how would that affect them? So.
Right, right. Do you think that if the breakup was really bad, that it would have a detrimental effect on the children or you or both? Or do you think that's good for them to learn that people may be in your life only for a season? What are your thoughts about that?
Um, well, I guess that to the communication stuff, things whether they're good or bad, can possibly be managed and worked through if they're communicated properly and openly and effectively. So, um, yeah, it's difficult. It definitely could be difficult. So, you know, and I don't. I definitely think it could be detrimental to the kids because kids they're young and they get really emotionally attached to people, and somebody to be here one day and then gone tomorrow. Kids can't always fully comprehend that. So I mean, even if you have like a sudden passing of a family member or something, I mean, kids can't necessarily understand or that no matter how well you explain it to them. So
Okay, but now you said communication is key in these situations.
yeah.
How does the conversation go? So you're dating someone, this is the first date or the second date, and you know they have children. How does this conversation go as far as the foreseeable future if something happens and that person has children?
Mm, mm. Well, what on the guy's part or on the woman's part? You don't know
On
the
both,
guy. Oh,
there's communication on both
well,
ends.
I don't. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if many women consider that. I don't know that most guys consider that. I consider that because I've dealt with it firsthand. I've dated women with kids, and you know, I've always kind of got along great with kids. I have a big family, a lot of cousins, and a lot of my cousins have kids. Um, I've always, I mean, kids just want you to you know, be nice to them and listen to them because kids can talk a mile a minute. So really, they just want somebody to talk to, even if it's just about whatever, cartoons or wimpy kid books, whatever, whatever the latest pop culture. So just the fact that you're paying attention to a kid, or you give the impression that you paid attention to him, then that just kind of sets them over the moon because they're kind of used to adults be like, yeah, whatever, go play on your tablet or go watch TV or something. I'm busy. So but like I said, I don't know that many men and women think about that. That's they just figure you'll date and then it'll work out happily ever after, and no bumps in the road. But like I said, in the event that you do get along with the kids, but maybe it doesn't work out with the mother, then um, really you're kind of you're almost out of luck because in this particular situation, she knew that I had built up such a bond with the daughter that she still let us be in communication, and um, I mean, me and the mother were cordial, semi-cordial. I mean, I'd talk to her, but I'd more so ask, how's their daughter doing, and blah blah
Well,
blah
let
blah
me ask
blah.
you then. So you said that's an aspect of it, the
Hmm.
getting, having to deal with, when there's a breakup with the woman is almost
Hmm.
essentially a breakup with the children. But
Yeah.
how now let's go move a little bit back a little bit. So prior
Hmm.
to the breakup, do you feel like, as because I'm hearing about this guys that want to be stepfathers kind of thing, do you feel like just getting in a relationship with a woman, you feel obligated not to just take her out, but to make sure that the child has some type of, I don't know, extra dinner, doggy bag to take home after dinner, or to always get her something or him something, or always to spend more time? Do you feel like you're kind of playing the role of not just showing that you can provide for her, but you can provide for the child as well? Do you feel like that even in the early dating phase
Um, do you feel obligated? Mm,
to play the
uh,
stepfather role, even though you're not like getting towards that
yeah.
serious marriage, but early on?
Well, I mean, no. I guess it depends on how soon that you actually meet the child. So, I mean, when I, um, dated her, like I said, she was a single mother, so I met the daughter pretty early. So,
How early?
I mean, after maybe just a month and a half, month and a half, maybe. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you were to, okay, so you apparently it seems like she only had one child.
Yeah.
When does it become, what's the number that makes it a cutoff for men to say no, just because of this many children, I don't want to be bothered? And why? Why is that the number?
Um, I don't know the cutoff. I would guess maybe it would be two or three. Like I say, I've dated a few women with one kid, but there was a one time I dated a divorcee that had three kids. So I would imagine maybe two kids, maybe. So.
But why? Why is there a? I may essentially know the reason, but I want to understand from a man's perspective. Why is the number
Oh,
of children a issue?
oh. Well, yeah. Well, like I say, you and her. I mean, two kids. You don't want to be outnumbered by the kids. So then, you got two arms. So you could physically maintain two kids, but more than that, they might uh, they might take you over. So.
Well, I get it as a mom of three. I
Yeah.
understand it's a lot. But a lot of me, I think about this movie. I don't know. It's probably one of these Tubi movies. There's a woman. She had five kids, and her husband was in the military, so he passed away,
Mm.
and she was left with five children. And she was a very beautiful, respectable woman, but no one wanted to date her because they were like, "Gosh, you have that many," and it was hard for her to date. Well, although she got a lot of people to talk to her after they found out how many children she had, they were like, never mind. Until she found one guy who he also had children, and so he was okay with that. But apparently, there's a limit, and I'm just trying to figure out what that number is. You're saying two.
Well, really, to be honest, it boils down to their behavior and whatnot. Because like when I dated the woman with the three kids, the two oldest kids were fine. They were mellow. They were cool. But the youngest one, she was buck wild, and even the mother, she was even out of hand. In the mother's eyes, she's like, "Oh yeah, that's the wild one," And so I remember, either we were sitting down at the dinner table or in the living room or something, and she was running around, buck wild, and so I had to like pull her to the side, and then, I had to like whisper in the ear, you don't chill out, you're gonna have a problem, So and
Right.
then but yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, it really depends on the behavior. So I could have one kid, and the kid could be, like a Tasmanian devil, and that would be, like, oh, this is too much. But I would say two or three, assuming they're well behaved. So.
Right. Now, Michael here says five, and he said probably chances are that they probably have probably more than one fathers,
Father.
and that might be the issue. I assume that's what you meant, Michael. You said more than one, um, but and that might be true because you think, oh, that's just too many men I'm going to have to deal with, too much drama. Outside of, like, it may not even be the actual trial is the drama, but the issues surrounding the children, and when you're around them, and having to deal with her drama,
Yeah.
with previous fathers, and even if the fathers aren't around, just the drama of her in the process of babysitting, taking care of the children. And when you go out, you may not always get to go out like you want because she's going to have to sometimes be home. She's going to have to do this and do that with the child. There's a lot of demands the more children you have, especially when they're younger or the age groups are different. That means they can't just stick together and do things together. All right. So,
Well,
yeah.
not even that. There's always the chance of the boyfriend and the baby father, or if it was more than one, women never think about the issue of there possibly being a physical altercation because, you know, some baby fathers, they can be very, very territorial and demanding and whatnot. I mean, I even in celebrity terms, I mean, for example, Halle Berry, she waited a long time to have kids. Finally, she had her first child, the little girl with the younger, male model guy. They
Right.
broke up. They broke up, and then she went off and she, dated some actor, might have been European or South American actor. And there was a big there was a big story in the news. It might have been like over the holidays, Thanksgiving or Christmas or something. And of course, she and the baby father had custody issues over the daughter. And then so the baby father showed up at, she and the new boyfriend's house. And then the baby father and the new boyfriend got into a physical altercation. And I think the baby father actually ended up spending the night in jail. So,
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't
so,
know that. But you
so if
know,
that goes on, so if that goes on with multi-million these, then it's going to go on with regular, blue collar, white collar people. So I mean,
yeah, that's true. Because you're right. Some people get territorial, and then especially with all the testosterone, you can just end up in a fight all over drama that you really didn't have to be a part
yeah,
of.
and as the boyfriend, I mean, imagine the situation that puts you in. You you want to protect your woman and stand up for your woman, but at the same time, this, I mean, is this a if he and her are getting into an altercation? I mean, is this something that you're supposed to interject yourself in, or should you stay out? If you stay out, then is she gonna be mad at you later on for not, breaking up the situation? So I mean, it's almost like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So yeah.
So what do you ask? What kind of questions do you ask on the date? Like, hey, how are you and your, child's father? What kind of relationship do you have? Do you ask these questions? What, or do you just
Well, yeah,
spontaneous?
if you're a guy that's gonna date, a woman with children, like I say, I'm not gonna do that because I understand all the intricacies of that. But yes, if you're a guy that's gonna talk to a woman with children, then yeah, you would want to know how's her relationship with the baby father, how's the baby father's relationship with the child, and why why did the two of you break up, and has he moved on? Is he moved on with his life? He's dating somebody new. Does he still want you back? I mean, so
Mm.
these are all topics of discussion. So because you're dating somebody and you're putting yourself on the line, your feelings, your emotions, and you don't want to have the rug pulled underneath you by your girlfriend going back to her ex.
Oh, so now you're saying that there could be history because there's history between them. It's a likelihood that she could end up going back to him. So that's
Oh,
also a thing to
oh
think
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So what do you think about what's the difference between an ex-boyfriend, the child's father, or an ex-husband? Is there a difference?
Well, I mean, both, like say that they have the common bond of the child, and I mean, both are pretty serious because, um, ex-boyfriend, that could be a future husband. Even ex-husband could be your new husband. Actually, a college buddy of mine, his parents, they got divorced when he and his younger brother, when they were still in grade school, and they remained on good terms due to the two sons. Would you believe that around the time my buddy, sometime when he was in college, the beginning, middle of college, his parents actually got remarried, and they're still remarried to this day. So,
Oh wow! So I guess you have to worry about person going back to
Oh
their
yeah,
spouse.
absolutely. I mean, you really care about somebody, and you get divorced, and you see the error of your ways, and you work on things. Then, yeah, there's a possibility that ex-wives and husbands could get back together. I mean, I'm not sure the statistics how frequently it happens, but yeah, I mean, sometimes you realize this is your forever love. You'll do whatever you have to do to get back with them. So,
Okay, well, let me ask you this. I know a lot of men don't have physical custody. So it may be different when they're dating. But for men who do have children, physical custody of their children, and they have the day to day interaction with the child, do you think they face the same issues when dating, even when they have physical custody of the child?
um, I would assume not. I've come across ladies in the past. Sometimes you talk to somebody and it doesn't work out, but you might still end up being, friends with them or whatever. And I actually met a girl not too long ago, and we had a discussion because I was like, well, I was asking her if she had any kids, and she asked me if I had any kids, and of course we both said no. And then I was like, yeah, I've dated women with kids before, but I wouldn't do it anymore. And then she was like, "Oh well, if you love someone, then it shouldn't matter if they have kids." She was like, "I would date a man um if he had kids." So I'm like, "Well, that's good to know on your part." I mean, I have cousins that dated and ended up marrying guys that had kids from previous relationships. So yeah, um, women might be more open to it, maybe more so than guys. So,
Yeah,
but then
I think
again,
be
oh,
open
sorry,
to
go
it.
ahead.
No, I was saying I think
Yeah,
you can be open to it as a woman, just like men, but we still worry about mama drama. So I think we will be
Ye-
worried about that as women.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not sure. Like I said, I have a couple of cousins that married guys that had kids from previous relationships, and and then yeah, the guy was in custody of the kid, and then when they got married, the kid lived in her house. So I'm not sure what was the story with the mother. So, but yeah.
Hmm. Well, I say this, and this is just from my own personal knowledge of what I see in the court system. Usually, when the father has custody, the mom is nowhere sane. She's not sane because usually they do give custody to the woman. If she does
Mm.
not have custody, she really have to prove to the court that she's really not equipped in any shape or form.
Oh,
At all.
or well, there are cases, when the guy is super wealthy and famous, then those are the times they end up getting custody of the kids over the mother. I mean, like Usher and Dwayne Wade and Ludacris. He got custody of the daughter from the child's mother. So
Yeah, and usually they have to prove a reason why they're more equipped. And given though they have money, so sometimes that works a little bit different. I do think sometimes, but I've seen in
yeah.
many cases where they will give the woman chances. In fact, just to further prove my point, even though it's a TV show, I hope it's not a spoiler alert for some people. But I was watching Chicago Med, and the woman is giving birth. 5 minutes later on the floor, um, about to OD, and the doctor's still trying to give the baby back, a newborn baby, back to her mom, who is a heroin addict. And I'm like, now let that have been the man. and he's trying to recover from his addiction, would they still allow that? No. And I'm thinking, this is not even the best interest of the child. I know you're trying to look out for the mother, but that's not even fair to the child. Like, if that child could talk, they'd be like, please don't give me back to my mama. Like, I think that this is sometimes we live in this world where she's got to be doggone just no good.
Yeah.
For her to have it, because there's a lot of good fathers and they don't have custody, but it's not because they're not good fathers, it's they don't have custody because, you know, this is the court system does believe that mothers are more fitting, more motherly, and can help with the child. But I do believe 50-50 is best, although we don't really live in that society where it's actually equal as far as 50-50 in physical custody. We just get 50-50 legal custody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But tying into what you say, that's where you gotta vet the people that you're with, and you don't want to just be having kids with just any random person, especially someone that you don't get along with, and you and their ideals and goals in life on the line. So
yeah, that's so true. So hopefully, we can get the divorce rate to change. We can get people to even want to marry people who are actually the best person for them, because divorce rate across the board is 50%. And it's not even just in our community. Divorce is low. Some people are not even going as far as even getting married these days. They're just having children, like what you're saying. They're single, either single mothers or fathers just to have the child, but no one's married. What's your thought about that?
Well, I mean, that, makes me think back to, what we talked about in the past about, I feel that it's hard for good people to find other equally good people. You might have one person that's, honest and loyal and, want to make the relationship work. And then the other person is a liar, they running around promiscuous. And then, when those two type of people get together, then I mean, it's just meant to be a combustible, relationship, So the way for the divorce rate to drop and for marriages to succeed is, for good people to find equally good people, two people that are going to communicate, they're going to, respect one another, be loyal to one another, and really want to tough it out and stick with the person through good and bad. But that's kind of the difficulties of the dating world nowadays, and marriages fully succeeding. So yeah.
That's true. Well, I appreciate you coming on and we chopping it up, talking about relationship and divorce. I'm a big proponent of family, and family includes marriage. It includes, children, which is what you call your legacy. And I'm a huge proponent of protecting your seed. Who you have children with is highly important as a man, because the woman she's carrying your legacy. And then if the child is going to also potentially carry on your last name. So you want to make sure that person that woman and that child is going to be able to protect the brand that you had, the good reputation you had. And as a woman, you're carrying a piece of the man with you. So you want to protect your womb. I'm a huge proponent of that. But a lot of people are just having children with people that disgust them. People that they wish they were never with. And they're like, why did I get with this person? That person looked so good, but now they're far from it. And the vows are out the window. The idea of happy relationship is out the window. And then we just have children growing up, seeing new men in a woman's life, calling them uncle. And then same thing, guys, just going always seeing, their father or mother just going into a new relationship, a new man in their life. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want?
No. Just, great discussion. Thank you for having me this evening.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care. Thank you, Sean.
All right. Take care.
Then, Michael, if you're still out there, if you still wanted to comment, definitely please call in. There's a number at the bottom of the screen in case you've forgotten the number. You can definitely still call in. In the meantime, while that call goes in, I'll play the video for those who wanted to see it again. Let me play that.
Did you know that women leave men 80% of the time? And if they're college educated, it's 90. So if you get divorced, it's 80% of the time like the woman leaves. And one of the number one predictors of divorce is actually if the woman out earns the man.
Oh, I love that. I actually love that. I can't lie. I actually
You love that? You don't think that's kind of...
No, I'm like, girl, you go get that. You go get a man, and like, yeah, you go get that.
All right, Sean, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sean?
My name's Mike. It's Michael.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. That was Sean that just left. Mike, can you hear me, Mike?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So, what did you want to call in about today, Mike?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add my 2 cents on what you were saying earlier. Now, when I brought up Crimson Cure, I wanted to tell you exactly what Crimson Cure said before. What she said in her recent teaching.
Okay, go ahead.
Recently, Crimson Cure is about. I'm gonna say this like this: she's a man's woman, if you know what I mean. She's the most anti-feminist you would ever meet. So she will tell you things that you as a black woman would probably not agree with. She said recently in her recent teaching today that she read the Mayhem report that affects our community. And the studies that they did on our community as black people. She read it on her new recent teaching, and then she said that one of the things she read out of the teaching, out of the Mayhem report, if I'm saying it right, she said that men are more targeted because they are men and because they're prone to rebel against the environment. Women less in the environment because, according to scripture, they are the weaker vessel, which means not to say that women are weak, but it's just to say that women are weaker in certain areas than men are, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So they prone to oppress men and keep men out of the home and keep men at a certain, particularly black men at a particular financial level because they don't want black men or men in general to get over the woman, because they know with the woman being in charge of the community will go into destruction. So, and I'm talking particularly about the black community. So it's really, and I don't know if you're religious or not, but it's particularly I would consider an antichrist agenda. It's an antichrist agenda to give women a little bit more of an edge than a man, and give them more of a financial liberty to run the community. Because see, I had a friend of mine. He comes to the store that I work at, was particularly part time, and he told me one day while we was in class, we went to the same school together, the same GED school together, some time ago. He said, "I ain't getting married. Married nothing but a check." Because he feels that if he gets married, she decides to divorce him, he gonna lose everything he got. So the only thing he does is just either have sex, or he don't have enough money to become a passport bro. So he just says, well, you know what? I'm just gonna have sex out of wedlock for the rest of my life. And he has 5 children too. So and this goes back to what I just said, the passport bro movement. Men don't feel like they have a place here in American society, or women who want women in our community in particular, they want men who are either Pookie and Ray Rays, or they want men who have certain financial status, or they don't want the man who has a good financial status, be not a rapper or a basketball player, or maybe a preacher or something like that. But You understand where I'm trying to go. Yeah, I'm trying to go here. It's just an agenda to destroy communities and to divide the family. That's what divorce is basically.
Well, the agenda to have men out the home has been there and prevalent for actually quite some time. Ever since the women were able to see they were able to get money from the government, and they didn't need to have the men in the home. That has been part of a destruction for not just our community but in general, for quite some time. Now, I will say this, going back to the guy that you were describing that said, well, since he's not able to find a woman for him, he's decided to just, go and deal with hookups, um, or wait until he get the money he needs to be a passport bro. The thing I'll say about that though is I'll say the same thing I tell women. You can't just run away from relationships because you're fed up. You do just need to learn to properly vet. you know
Right.
and find the one that's right for you. There's someone in the states that could potentially be right for you, and if not, when you get your money, then you can go overseas. I'm not against the passport bros, but I do believe in properly vetting. There's someone on this earth, there's someone in your area that could be best for you. But of course, we're people, we're not in every place at the same time, so there are going to be people we miss out on, people we don't see because places we have not attended, or maybe we're not meeting them at the right time. So, but I do think that
Right.
there are people in our lives, and I don't think that all is lost in a dating world. But I do
Right.
think it's slim. It is slim, and I do think that we live in this whole feminist society. I think that that is also a destruction of families, not just our community, but in general. But I think that if men are becoming fed up, or what they call MGTOW, going their own way, um, it's a destruction as well. Why? Because now you'll be part of that destruction. The guy who said, I can't find a woman that's right for me, so I'm not gonna marry. But he's creating children. So he's creating more fatherless homes, more children growing up without a full identity within themselves, and how proper and healthy relationships work. Healthy
Right.
relationships create children who are later healthy and create a mindset. So if a mindset is the issue, how are we helping with children's mental when we're helping them grow up in fatherless homes or motherless homes? Because some women
Right.
aren't proper
Right.
mothers. They're trifling women, and they have they should not have these children. And so we have children growing up, and now they become bitter men and women. And these are the people we see on social media, mad at the world today, mad at relationships today, because they never saw that growing up. They can't point to a good man. They can't point to a good woman. They can't point to a good and successful relationship. And it seems to me he hasn't seen that. And how sad is that? How sad is that he doesn't have parents, or may not have seen that? So I think that's part of the destruction as well, which is why I'm all for marriage. Marriage fosters positive relationships. I'm not saying marrying anybody, but marrying
So
the
I'm gonna
right
tell you.
people. Um,
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you a couple of stories before
yeah.
I hang up. I was watching the Philip Scott show, and this is one thing your boss said. Philip Scott, he said he did a video on this guy who was an astrophysicist. This man was handsome. And I'm gonna say it's not in the way because I'm not gay. Obviously, you know that by the way I talk. I'm not gay, but he was handsome. He was smart, intelligent. When he was 18 years old, the boy was a physicist. He said he was a pharmacist.
Mm.
I think you've seen that story, didn't you? But
It's not coming to my head at the moment. But what was about the story?
he said he knew martial arts. He went into the military. He did his podcast, and he got a high score on his IQ. And they gave him a job doing astrophysics. When he got on the panel with a certain African American woman, so folks particularly in our community now, he said that this is who I am. I'm this. I'm that. The girl said pineapples and vibes. Well, he had no personality. He didn't want Pookie and Ray Ray or something like that.
Really?
So Basically, now I listen to rap music, I will be honest with you. But I never allowed rap music to affect who I am as a person. But the music we listen to, the culture that we have, and our understanding of life is like from what Crimson Cure would call a lost value system has destroyed our community. We need to get back to the value system of our ancestors, the value system that you have, the value system of family, the value system of God, the value system of spirituality, the value system, and then we get to wealth. So we can't get to that all of that if we live under the lost value system. If we think that a dude who's handsome and very intelligent, very gifted, and everything like that, been in the military, probably can tear a dude up in a martial arts conference like that, is not worth your time because he ain't Pookie and Ray. That's when you know that all hopes is down. That's when you know that all hopes is like probably lost. Philip Scott is at the point now. I watched this video today on YouTube on Philip Scott audio show. He's at a point now where he's tired of the black community because of how we vote, because of the fact that we keep supporting Pookie and Ray Ray, and we're not building families and stuff like that. We don't know, and so that's and how we vote is another subject for another time. But particularly in dating, we don't have good value system. We don't have good vetting process. But before I talk your head off, I want you to respond, and then I'm gonna get out this whole phone. So go ahead.
Well, thank you. Well, I mean, yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Like you said, from how we vote, our value system, the same thing you said with Crimson Cure, we have a value system that's just upside down now. And I can totally agree with that. Just the way we think. I mean, I've done videos on the Philip Scott show, and people were like, let her do what she wants. She shouldn't be ashamed of her doing this. And I'm like, no, we need to bring shame back. Like, people are okay with just the most trifling and messiest thing. We're okay with that. I did a video on the show where they talked about the girl was flexing. She was like, yeah, I got 7 kids and look at how I look. I'm 23 and I got multiple baby fathers. And I'm trying to figure out, why was that even a flex? So I
I'm gonna tell you
live
this.
in that society.
I'm gonna tell you this, Miss DeVita. I am 30 and I ain't got no children. I'm a virgin, and I'm gonna stay that way until I get married. So that is definitely not a fact. That is a shame that she's 23, she got 7 children. That's pathetic right there. But
Yeah.
but you can continue.
And she was flexing. She thought she thought, oh, well, I look good. And she had her figure still. But I don't think the flex, because she didn't just say, I have 7 kids and I look good. She said, I have 7 kids. I look good. I'm 23 and I have multiple baby fathers. And I just didn't even understand why she thought that was okay. But we live in a society where what's right is wrong, or what's wrong is now right. We live in a society what was considered, a good thing. Those kind of men, that the guy that you described would have been a great husband. But now these guys are considered boring, right? And no good, and just a square, a loser, lame. They call them lame now, the educated lame. So we take all of these things that's supposed to be good and we make it bad. And yeah, the value system is lost. Our mindset has gone awry. And I'm at loss for words for how some of the people think, both men and women, as it relates to dating and marriage and children. No one's protecting themselves. And this is why this is why I do what I do. This is why I talk about what I talk about. Sometimes people say I can be a little harsh, but I'm telling you, as a woman who's been married for 13 years, the things I've learned, and even just the society we've grown up in, get your money up, get your degree, get this and do this. And we live in that society where it's trying to push most women to be feminine, or feminist instead of feminine. Being feminine is looked at as weak these days. It's not even a good thing to be a girly girl anymore at all.
Particularly in our community. But like I said, if when Michael B. Jordan was called corny, when an old classmate called Michael B. Jordan corny, and they all came back to Hunter, you know that our community is at a rocks where it's about to tip over. If I'm making any sense, because Michael B. Jordan is being called corny even now because he didn't want to because he couldn't secure Lord B. Harvey, or Lord B. Harvey couldn't secure him.
Right.
So I'm saying, hold on, Lauren Harvey is an industry thought. She dated both P. Diddy and she dated P. Diddy's son.
Yeah.
That is nasty.
Yeah.
That is nasty. So Mike B. Jordan was the only man. He may have been a simp for it. Philip Scott called him that. But the thing about it is that he was trying to secure a marriage with Lori Harvey, and now he feels he got to go to other women of other races because they are because now we feel, because in our community or particularly in American society, we have grown to a point now where right is wrong and wrong is right, and what's cool is stupid is cool, and success is pathetic.
Yeah.
So if I'm making any sense, so. But like I said, I'm not gonna keep you for too long. I just wanted to put that thought in your head. I don't know if you understand. I don't know if you read the Bible or not, but we're living in the last days now, and like the Bible said, they shall call right wrong and wrong right. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. But I'll talk to you another time. Good job on your show. Sorry for interrupting you earlier. So just wanted to let you know. Thank you.
Well, that's fine, and thank you so much for taking the time to come onto my show. Being a loyal viewer, Michael, I appreciate it.
Okay, one day I'm gonna show you my face, but not right now.
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right.
All right. You
Bye-bye.
take care. All right, guys, as a reminder, I do have my book that's out, so go ahead and go to our website. You can see the website on the bottom of your screen, mrsdanielledevita.com. Go ahead and click on it. See what my content is about. Click on the book portion and you can go right to the book. It's $7.50. You have paperback, you have ebook. So that book is out. To learn more about my content, just sift through some of the things that I have, small little blogs of my thoughts on there just to see what I'm talking about. But I have a lot of content that helps both men and women. My website mostly has a lot of stuff for women. This book will have a lot of information to help men. Everything I say is reciprocity. So you can read this and put it in terms for you. It doesn't have to, if you're a man viewing the content and you see something about a woman, it can still apply to you. So definitely look into that information. But I am going to get out of here. So again, I appreciate you guys watching my content. I'll see you guys on Tuesday, and we'll try to get a woman's point of view of how dating is. And then if you're a woman and you want to listen, definitely do that. But thank you, Michael, for bringing up the Crimson Cure. I'll definitely try to reach out to her and see if we can have a conversation. So we'll definitely do that. All right, you guys, take care.
Perk 101. So a lot of times women say that you can't afford me. And if you want to be a feminine woman, realize that you are not an escort. And committed relationships ought not to be transactional. As you rest in your femininity and learn your worth, you will realize that the men you are with should see you as invaluable and priceless like no other. And yes, you can have shopping sprees, 5-star dinners, and trips, but those things won't make you different and won't set you apart. Things that are priceless and invaluable, money can't buy. Money can't buy peace in a relationship. Money can't buy your love. Money can't buy your joy, your joyful spirit. It cannot buy your gentleness, kindness, your self-control is in controlling your emotions and how your responses to things, your personality, your attitude or mindset as a whole. If you notice, these are also fruit of the spirit from the Bible, right? If you're looking to be a Proverbs 31 woman, you definitely want to make sure you have these. So if you're having talking points of you can't afford me, realize that these are talking points of a basic chick or a modern woman. You want to be different. So get on your feminine journey. today. You can also visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com or visit me on other social media platforms.